What's up, guys? It's Jensen and welcome to another video. So the Golden State Warriors have been a complete disaster this year. I mean, Steph's been down this year, he's injured, and they just have a ton of journeymen and youngsters right now just trying to cobble up a couple wins. But the problem now is that the Warriors are winning quite a bit, and that might stray them away from the reality that they have virtually no chance at the playoffs. I mean, even though they've been winning some games, the fact of the matter is that if they think that they're going to oust teams like the Portland Trail Blazers and San Antonio Spurs for the 8th seed in the Western Conference, that's pretty foolish thinking in my opinion, because even when Curry comes back, it's going to be a little too late to help the Warriors get into the playoffs somehow. So they really have to look at trading D'Angelo Russell in my opinion, because first of all, he's not a good fit for the Golden State Warriors and what they want to do. And second of all, if he continues to lead the Golden State Warriors to some random wins here and there, then that could be a problem for the Golden State Warriors, because then their draft pick might not be as valuable. They're not going to have as big of a chance to get the #1 overall pick. And that's the problem for the Golden State Warriors, because we all know when we're talking about the Golden State Warriors, it's not really about this year. It's about what they could do next year with Steph being healthy and Klay probably being healthy. It's about then. Right now, it's just merely trying to slog through the regular season. So, I really think that they should look at trading D'Angelo Russell. And believe it or not, the place that actually makes sense to deal D'Angelo Russell to is the Detroit Pistons. So, my projected trade would be that the Golden State Warriors send D'Angelo Russell to the Detroit Pistons in exchange for Andre Drummond and their unprotected 2020 first-round pick. Now, let's look at Detroit first. Why does it make sense for them? I mean, it's pretty easy in my opinion. Even though their 2020 first-round pick is probably going to be a lottery pick, and even though Andre Drummond is a really good player, in my opinion, the only player that could average 20 points and 20 rebounds in the NBA, the fact of the matter is that with Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond leading the Detroit Pistons, they have little chance to get into the playoffs, and they have virtually no chance of even making it past the first round. In other words, their upside is very limited. So, if you deal for a guy like D'Angelo Russell, that would change everything about the Detroit Pistons, because this guy, he's young, and he was an all-star last year. He's clearly making progress. This is a potential franchise cornerstone for the Detroit Pistons if they choose to deal away Andre Drummond. And even though losing Andre Drummond stings, if you're able to get D'Angelo Russell, you have options then. You could trade away Blake Griffin, because D'Angelo Russell would presumably be the new franchise piece. Or you could try and keep Blake Griffin, which would also be interesting, and try and create a contender there. Because I think that if Blake Griffin had a good point guard the way he had Chris Paul with the Clippers, then Blake Griffin would be even better than he is right now. So, obviously, that would be something interesting to look at. So, it makes a ton of sense for Detroit. But why it makes sense for the Golden State Warriors, that's also pretty easy in my opinion. Because, obviously, D'Angelo Russell has to go. Especially once Klay Thompson comes back. It really doesn't make sense to keep all three of them in the starting lineup. That's just a weird dynamic. But if you get a guy like Andre Drummond, the only guy in my opinion who could average 20 points and 20 rebounds in today's NBA, which if he ever does, that'd be a stunning feat. But right now he's close, so obviously he is a true factor in the NBA. And you take into account guys like Steph and Klay stretching the floor for Golden State, Andre Drummond is a manimal in the paint now. He's gonna get a ton of rebounds and ton of second chance points. And he's just really going to be a force in the paint. You can't really double team Andre Drummond in this case. He's just going to be unleashed. And you combine that with Draymond Green, and that's just a stellar defense they're creating. And not to mention Klay Thompson, one of the better perimeter defenders in the NBA. So you take into account the fact that Andre Drummond also puts up around 17, 18 points per game. The Warriors could be a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense next year. And you take into account another first-round pick given to them from the Detroit Pistons on top of their own, and they're going to have a chance to add an impact small forward to complete the starting lineup. And on top of that, guys like Eric Pascal and Kai Bowman have really showed up this year for the Warriors. those guys are going to be on the bench next year because Steph and Klay and the rest of the guys are going to be back. So you look at that Golden State Warriors roster, if they deal D'Angelo Russell for Andre Drummond, and they're going to be a real title contender if they do everything that I've just said. And it's very realistic too. I mean, if you're the Detroit Pistons, why wouldn't you trade Andre Drummond for D'Angelo Russell? It just makes sense for all sides, in my opinion. And Detroit would get their franchise cornerstone, and Golden State would get back into contention. This makes sense for all sides. So I think that this is the perfect trade. And very rarely in the NBA is there a perfect trade, but this might be it. Anyways, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. I'll be proud of you for our NBA and NFL hot takes as the season goes on, and have a good day.